Imagine if the Philippines, a nation of over 7,000 islands, known for its vibrant culture, rich resources and deep faith, holds a hidden place in biblical prophecy. What if this Southeast Asian archipelago, unmentioned by name in the Bible, is actually linked to ancient lands of wealth and divine blessing? Could the people of the Philippines play a vital role in God's end-time plan? Stay tuned, because today we're diving deep into this fascinating possibility. After the Great Flood, the Bible tells us that Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, became the patriarchs of all nations on earth. Genesis 10, often called the Table of Nations, lists the descendants of these sons and the various peoples and cultures they established. Shem is traditionally linked to the peoples of the Middle East. Ham's descendants are associated with Africa and parts of Asia, and Japheth's line is connected to Europe and other areas in Asia. But what's fascinating is the idea, put forth by some biblical scholars and historians, that the people of the Philippines may carry a unique connection to both Japheth and Ham. Japheth's lineage is traditionally linked to populations that spread across Europe and Asia, including nations with incredible histories of cultural expansion and influence. Among Japheth's descendants, names like Gomer, Magog, and Madai are known to spread far and wide, reaching distant lands. Some scholars suggest that one of these lines might have eventually extended into Southeast Asia, ultimately reaching what we know today as the Philippines. Meanwhile, Ham's lineage is known for building powerful civilizations like Egypt, Ethiopia, and ancient Canaan, societies that were not only influential in their time, but also deeply embedded in the history and narratives of the Bible. His descendants, including figures like Cush and Mizraim, are credited with establishing significant cities and cultures across Africa and parts of Asia. Now, imagine the blending of these two powerful lineages, one known for cultural influence and expansion, the other for resilience and strength. Some researchers propose that this rare combination could be seen in the people of the Philippines, whose unique mix of culture, tradition, and adaptability is unmatched. This ancestry may explain why the Filipino people embody such cultural richness, as they carry forward a lineage that traces back to 2 major branches of Noah's family. As we look at the Philippines today, a country with over 7,000 islands, vibrant communities, and deep traditions, we might be seeing the living legacy of Japheth and Ham's descendants. This legacy may contribute to the resilience and adaptability that define the Filipino people, who have managed to preserve their heritage through centuries of external influences, from trading with ancient empires to adapting during the colonial periods, while still maintaining a distinct identity. So could the Philippines be more than just a modern nation? Could its people represent a unique biblical blend, carrying forward the diverse cultural and spiritual heritage of Japheth and Ham? This profound connection might just be one piece of the Philippines' hidden role in biblical history and prophecy. In the Bible, the land of Ophir is wrapped in mystery, known as a place of vast wealth, especially in precious gold. The Book of Kings tells us that King Solomon, one of the wealthiest and wisest kings of Israel, sent his fleet of ships to this distant land of Ophir every 3 years. These expeditions returned with a bounty of gold, silver, ivory, and even exotic animals. This remarkable land helped amplify the splendor of Solomon's kingdom, making it a legendary destination associated with unimaginable riches. For centuries, scholars and explorers have tried to locate Ophir. Some theories place it in Africa, near regions known for ancient gold mining. Others suggest it might be in South America, where gold was abundant in pre-Columbian civilizations. However, a growing number of researchers believe that Ophir may not be as distant as once thought, and that it could lie in Southeast Asia, specifically in the Philippines. Consider this. Before Spanish colonization, the Philippines was rich in natural resources, particularly in gold. Archaeological evidence has shown that pre-colonial Filipinos had an abundance of gold, which they skillfully crafted into jewelry, clothing ornaments, and ceremonial artifacts. Gold was so common that it was woven into fabrics, used in decorative arts, and even traded as a currency long before Western explorers set foot on these islands. This abundance aligns well with the biblical description of Ophir as a land overflowing with gold and precious materials. Moreover, historical records tell us that the Philippines had extensive maritime trade routes connecting it to India, China, and even the Arabian Peninsula. Filipino traders and seafarers navigated far and wide, exchanging goods with distant lands. This vast network could have allowed Ophir, or the ancient Philippines, to become known to distant empires, including Solomon's Israel. Imagine the awe of Solomon's traders as they reached the shores of this far-flung archipelago, brimming with gold and treasures they could scarcely imagine. The Bible describes Ophir as a faraway land, accessible by sea, a description that matches the geographic and trade characteristics of the Philippines during ancient times. Filipino tribes, known for their expert navigation and seafaring skills, could have been the intermediaries of a global trading system, connecting their islands to the ancient world. Although there is no absolute proof that the Philippines is the biblical Ophir, the parallels are striking. The country's ancient wealth in gold, its strategic position in Asian trade routes, and the evidence of a rich culture that valued and traded gold make it a compelling candidate for the legendary land. Could the Philippines really be Ophir, the fabled land that fueled Solomon's wealth and added to his kingdom's glory? If so, this Southeast Asian nation may hold a special place not only in history but also in the Bible's grand narrative. The ancient wealth and spiritual significance of Ophir could be tied to the Philippines, a nation with a rich heritage that may link it to the golden age of Israel's most famous king. In addition to Ophir, the Bible speaks of another mysterious and prosperous seafaring nation, Tarshish. Known for its wealth and vast trading network, Tarshish is described as a land of ships, commerce, and valuable resources. In passages from books like Isaiah and Ezekiel, we see references to the ships of Tarshish bringing silver, iron, tin, and lead, items that symbolize the extensive trade and wealth of this enigmatic land. Scholars have long debated the exact location of Tarshish. Some suggest it may have been in the western reaches of the ancient world, such as Spain or regions near the Mediterranean, while others believe it could represent any far-off trading hub known for maritime prowess. But could Tarshish, or the qualities it represents, also be connected to the Philippines? Consider the Philippines' ancient history as a major player in Asian maritime trade. Centuries before European explorers arrived, the Philippines had established a vast network of trade routes that spanned the South China Sea and beyond. Filipino seafarers were well versed in navigating challenging waters and were actively trading with powerful neighbors such as China, India, and the Arab world. Goods like silk, spices, precious stones, and yes, even gold flowed in and out of the Philippines, making it a bustling hub for international trade. In fact, ancient Filipino mariners were highly skilled and daring, setting sail in balangay boats that were expertly crafted for long voyages. The term balangay even inspired the modern word barangay, symbolizing the central role that seafaring played in the culture and organization of Filipino society. These boats, often carrying dozens of men, were sophisticated enough to make journeys that connected the Philippines to distant lands and thriving economies, possibly mirroring the maritime activities attributed to Tarshish. The Bible describes Tarshish as a distant, wealth-filled land reached by sea, a description that aligns remarkably well with the geographical and commercial characteristics of the Philippines during ancient times. If the Philippines could indeed represent a seafaring nation like Tarshish, it would further highlight its important role as a link between East and West, both economically and culturally. Could the Philippines be a modern reflection of Tarshish's spirit of exploration and trade? Or could its ancient maritime expertise and bustling trade history actually connect it to this prosperous biblical land? As we ponder this possibility, we see the Philippines not only as an isolated island nation, but as a major maritime power with influence stretching across vast distances, weaving together cultures and commerce in a way that echoes the legacy of Tarshish. While Tarshish may traditionally be linked to the West, the Philippines' storied past of seafaring, trade and wealth might place it within the broader biblical narrative of nations that shaped history through their maritime reach. This powerful connection offers a new perspective on the Philippines' place in both ancient and modern times. Perhaps, just as Tarshish was a symbol of trade and wealth in the Bible, the Philippines could embody that legacy in Asia's history. Now here's something remarkable. The Philippines stands out as the largest Christian nation in all of Asia, with over 80% of its population identifying as Christian, predominantly Catholic. In a region where Christianity is often a minority religion, the Philippines shines like a beacon of faith, carrying the message of Christ amidst a diverse religious landscape. Surrounded by countries where Islam, Buddhism and Hinduism are more prominent, the Philippines has held steadfast to its Christian heritage for centuries. This unique position takes on special significance when we consider Matthew 24:14, which prophesies that the gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. As we see the gospel being carried to the ends of the earth, the Philippines' role becomes increasingly important. With over 10 million Filipinos living and working abroad, the Filipino diaspora has spread to nearly every corner of the globe. From the Middle East to North America, Europe and beyond, Filipino Christians are sharing their faith, often in regions where Christianity is restricted or even persecuted. Think about this. Filipino migrant workers, missionaries, nurses, and other professionals carry their faith with them wherever they go. In countries where traditional missionaries face limitations, Filipinos often bring Christianity into homes, workplaces, and communities, serving as a silent mission force. They live out their faith through acts of kindness, resilience, and love, impacting lives in ways that fulfill the Great Commission in Matthew 28:19. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations. In the Middle East, for example, where Christianity is often restricted, Filipino workers bring their faith into daily interactions, introducing Christianity to people who may have never heard the gospel otherwise. In Europe and North America, Filipino communities form strong church networks, creating spaces for worship, fellowship, and outreach, supporting both locals and immigrants alike. Through their commitment to faith, Filipinos have become a unique force in the global Christian movement, bringing the message of Christ to some of the most challenging and unreached regions of the world. Could the Philippines' widespread influence be part of the fulfillment of Matthew's prophecy? It's possible that the Philippines' unique role as a Christian stronghold in Asia is not by accident. The nation's historical embrace of Christianity, first brought by Spanish missionaries in the 16th century, has positioned it as a central player in God's plan to spread the gospel worldwide. As we watch this incredible diaspora carry the gospel to places where traditional missions may be impossible, it becomes clear that the Philippines is not only preserving Christianity within its borders, but also acting as a bridge to reach the world. With unwavering faith, Filipinos are bringing the gospel to the farthest corners of the earth, fulfilling a divine calling that could be part of the grand design of God's prophetic timeline. So, could the Philippines' role in sharing the gospel truly be part of God's plan to reach all nations before the end comes? As Asia's Christian stronghold, the Philippines stands uniquely poised to fulfill this calling, reminding us of the power of faith that transcends borders, breaks down barriers, and reaches across the world. In the Bible, God gives a powerful promise in Genesis 12:3. "I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse." This promise was made to Abraham and his descendants, the people of Israel. Over the centuries, many nations have either stood with Israel or opposed it, and this alignment has often shaped their history and destiny in surprising ways. One remarkable example of this is the Philippines, a country that has demonstrated unwavering support for Israel during some of the most critical moments in history. Let's start with a little-known but profoundly impactful act during World War II. In 1939, as the horrors of the Holocaust were beginning to unfold, Filipino President Manuel Quezon made a courageous decision that set the Philippines apart. Recognizing the desperate plight of Jewish families fleeing persecution in Europe, he opened the doors of the Philippines to provide refuge to over 1,200 Jewish families. At a time when many nations turned their backs on Jewish refugees, the Philippines extended compassion and shelter, saving lives and earning a place of gratitude in Jewish history. But this was just the beginning. In 1947, when the United Nations held a crucial vote on the establishment of the State of Israel, the Philippines became the only Asian country to vote in favor of the resolution. This vote was essential in securing international recognition and support for the new Jewish state. In a region where Israel had few allies, the Philippines' decision to stand with Israel was a bold and unique act of friendship, one that solidified an enduring bond between the two nations. So why does this matter in the context of biblical prophecy? Many believe that God's promise in Genesis 12:3 still holds true, that those who bless Israel will be blessed in turn. By standing with Israel, especially during times when such support was rare, the Philippines could be aligning itself with God's favor. This alliance is not just a matter of politics or history. It could be part of a divine plan that brings blessings to the Filipino people. Today, this relationship continues to flourish, with Israel and the Philippines maintaining diplomatic, economic, and cultural ties. Israeli technology and expertise are helping to advance agriculture and water management in the Philippines, while the Filipino people have become some of Israel's most dedicated friends and supporters. This mutual bond is a testament to the enduring power of standing with Israel, even when it goes against the mainstream in the region. Could this historic alliance with Israel be part of why the Philippines has emerged as a resilient nation in Asia, blessed with a rich cultural heritage, abundant natural resources, and a strong Christian faith? Perhaps it's a sign of God's ongoing favor, a blessing bestowed upon a nation that chose to bless his people, even in times when it was a bold and uncommon choice. The Philippines' support for Israel serves as a powerful reminder of how acts of compassion, friendship, and courage can ripple across history. As we look at the Philippines today, a country that continues to uphold its values of faith and kindness, we might just be witnessing the unfolding of God's promise as spoken thousands of years ago. So, is the Philippines being blessed for its steadfast support of Israel? This legacy of friendship might indeed be one of the many ways the Philippines is woven into the grand design of God's plan. As we approach what many believe to be the end times, a time of unprecedented spiritual and geopolitical significance, it's possible that nations around the world are being drawn into prophetic roles. With its strong Christian foundation and its unique position as a cultural and spiritual bridge in Asia, the Philippines could indeed have a special place in this unfolding narrative. The book of Revelation gives us a powerful image of what will come. A great multitude from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before God's throne, worshiping Him in unity. This vision paints a picture of a global Christian community gathered together in faith, transcending borders, languages, and ethnicities. And when we look at the Philippines and the Filipino diaspora, a vast network of people spreading their faith, culture, and compassion across continents, we see a striking resemblance to this prophetic vision. Today, over 10 million Filipinos live and work abroad, from the bustling cities of the Middle East to remote towns in Europe, North America, and beyond. Wherever they go, they carry their faith with them, often establishing churches, prayer groups, and Bible studies, sometimes even in regions where Christianity faces restrictions. Through their everyday acts of kindness, resilience, and devotion, Filipinos are not only embodying the values of the gospel, but also quietly spreading the message of Christ to the farthest corners of the world. This global Filipino presence serves as a modern-day mission force. In places where traditional missionaries might struggle to gain entry or acceptance, Filipino Christians have been welcomed as workers, caregivers, and friends, building connections that allow them to live out and share their faith. This unique role could be part of the fulfillment of the Great Commission, as Jesus instructed in Matthew 28:19, to go and make disciples of all nations. In this sense, the Filipino people might be playing an essential part in preparing the world for the end times. The Philippines' deep-rooted Christian identity, combined with its widespread diaspora, may be acting as a bridge for the gospel in this final chapter of history. Imagine the Filipino community as a network of lights across the world, each individual reflecting the love of Christ and connecting people to the hope found in the gospel. This vast, global network of believers may be part of a larger divine plan, fulfilling the vision of Revelation, where people from every nation, tribe, people, and language come together in worship. And beyond spreading faith, Filipinos abroad often bring a spirit of compassion and care that is deeply resonant with the Christian message. As nurses, caregivers, teachers, and laborers, they serve with humility, kindness, and patience. This compassionate spirit can touch the hearts of those around them, planting seeds of faith that may grow in ways we can't yet see. Could the Philippines be uniquely positioned to play a role in the spiritual landscape of the end times? With its strong ties to Israel, a profound Christian heritage, and a global network of believers, the Philippines might be more than just a nation. It could be a spiritual force, helping to fulfill God's vision for the last days. In this light, the Philippines' place in the end times narrative becomes more than speculation. It's a calling to carry forward the light of Christ into the darkest places, to be a voice for faith and compassion, and to play a part in a divine tapestry woven by God Himself. This beautiful vision reminds us that every act of faith, every moment of compassion, and every prayer lifted up by Filipinos worldwide might just be a part of God's plan to gather His people, as prophesied in the Bible's final chapters. As we look toward the future, we might find that the Philippines has a profound and spiritual role to play in the culmination of history, a role that connects them to a global Christian community united in faith as they prepare the way for the ultimate gathering before God's throne. So, could the Philippines, with its vibrant cultural tapestry, ancient heritage, and steadfast Christian faith, truly be part of God's divine plan in these last days, from its possible connections to the lands of Ophir and Tarshish, its profound role as a Christian stronghold in Asia, its historic support for Israel, and its powerful missionary presence worldwide? The Philippines stands out as a nation with unique spiritual significance. Maybe these aren't just random points in history. Perhaps these elements form a larger picture, a prophetic blueprint laid out in the Bible, connecting this nation to God's greater plan for humanity. Could it be that the Philippines, often overlooked in biblical discussions, is in fact a hidden key in the Bible's prophetic puzzle? As we approach a time of global transformation, it's intriguing to consider that the Philippines' impact isn't just historical or cultural, but profoundly spiritual. This nation's faith, resilience, and compassion seem to mirror the qualities that God values, and its role in spreading the gospel to every corner of the globe suggests it may have a prophetic purpose. The book of Revelation speaks of a great multitude from every nation, tribe, people, and language, gathered before the throne of God. Could the Philippines be contributing to the fulfillment of this vision, uniting believers across the globe in preparation for Christ's return? We might be seeing more than the natural progression of history. We could be witnessing the unfolding of a divine narrative. The Philippines' legacy of faith, its support for Israel, and its diaspora's global influence might not just be acts of goodwill, but fulfillments of promises, prophecies, and blessings. So, what do you think? Is it possible that the Philippines is woven into God's end-time plan, set apart for a purpose that goes beyond what the eye can see? Could its story be one that inspires the world to recognize the power of faith, compassion, and resilience, especially in these final days? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe the Philippines has a role in biblical prophecy? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Bible Stories official channel to continue exploring how God's ancient promises resonate in our modern world. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you. If you found this video intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and comment below with your thoughts. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the Bible Stories official channel for more amazing insights into biblical prophecies and their connections to the world we live in today. Thank you for watching, and God bless.